Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. No, I'm not asleep, man. This has got to be, honestly, I was looking, obviously I've been sleeping a little bit later lately, but I was looking, and I think this is probably one of the slowest pre-markets I've maybe ever seen. This is insane. Hood is going crazy, but other than that, it's like very, very slow. We are getting some BTC movement the last few minutes, so how's everyone's morning? Good. All right, I'm going to give everyone like 3 to 4 minutes to get in here, and then we're going to get started. Any thoughts on snow as a swing over 285? Let's look. The weekly. Yeah, I think, over that 288 level, that's been a key level for snow. It's got nice room upwards, right? I would look towards this 288 break. It's a pretty big point of resistance. Once we get over that, if the rest of the tech is sector is nice, then this can be a nice move for sure. I don't know. I traded snow a little while ago. The premiums were really, really weird in the way they moved, just because even on the breakout, it was such low volume. But it's got a nice move over that 288 area for sure. Yeah, coin does look really good. It's gonna be one of my top setups today. I want to talk about just kind of things in general right now. As far as top movers, Hood is the kind of setting the pace this morning. It seems like, right? Obviously, not much of a weekly chart here, but we go out to the zoom out a bit. We've seen a major move up here. I think we pushed 55 this morning. So I want to see continuation in this, as far as if it sets a theme. Theme wise, I think really the only true sympathy play to Hood is the SoFi name. I know this one kind of did me and a few others that. The swing was just could not hold that 16 level, got caught in that little market down day. We are sitting near support here in the low 15s. If Robinhood sees a crazy move, which I'm not expecting because it is August, I would look to this one as a sympathy mover. But I'm probably not going to play Hood, but thank you guys. Plant does look solid. Yeah, I'm going to just reinforce on Twitter tomorrow that the link is posted on Patreon. Just remember, I'm posting the link on Patreon because it's an exclusive benefit for those tiers. So please try to remember that. It's not I'm trying to not post the link or anything like that. I'm just posting it where I said I was going to post it for this month. So just be aware of that, guys. It'll be posted every single day there at 9:45. I'm going to try to move the streams up to 9 or 8:30. Doing them at 8:45 I think is nice because it gives us about 20-25 minutes, and then can still get a plan ready for open. It's hard to form a true watch list even right now before 9 o'clock, because most of the volume's coming in at 8 o'clock, and then you need to see where things kind of shake out. So it's a little bit tough. You want to mark some key levels and things like that. It can be more difficult. But anyway, good morning. I think pretty much everyone's in here now. It is 8:54 a.m. Wednesday, August 4th. I believe I'm correct. Yes. Okay. But obviously very slow pre-market in the even small, large cap land, right? Just everything's kind of slow, very low volume. A few things I am gonna watch today, guys. Affirm had really, I know, right? Like everyone's scarred up from this. This was probably one of the crazier almost trades I've ever had. You guys that, are on the Twitter, obviously throughout the day, you guys saw I had about $13,000 worth of the $70 calls at a 140 average, I think. After all was said and done, 145. And I sold at about 145, maybe 2 o'clock. Minutes later, 60 minutes later, Affirm popped this nice little candle right here on the news that they were partnering with Apple to do their Canada-based pay later, buy now payment systems. I think this is a really bullish news, like catalyst for Affirm, right? Like especially long term, it's made me like pretty bullish on the company, because I was thinking to myself last night, I was like, wow, this is just opening like a crazy possible, stream for them as far as revenue. And I just, it's very hard to not be bullish about a partnership with one of the, leading companies in the world, right? Leading tech companies in the world, with how many iPhones they sell. I've used Affirm before. Just because I wanted to try it out, I bought a Peloton for my mom last year. Tried, used Affirm just to see how it was. Really, I think it's a seamless app. I like the integration. So, yeah, I feel that. And congrats to those who stayed in, etc. But I do think we're getting a nice possible dip here in pre-market. I don't want to jump too early, but here's what I'm going to look for. I'm not emotional about this stuff, guys. I'll play it again if the opportunity presents itself. We are right now testing, right? I want to even say we're coming really close, but we're testing our breakout level from yesterday, right? Which was the highs from the day before, which is that 65.90 level. If we see a bounce from here at open, right, as long as we bounce off this level, I'm going to get long probably at least a lotto, because I think that this could move big on the news. What I will probably do is take a starter on the $75 calls. And then what I'm going to do from that point, right, is I want to scale in over the 70 break. So over that 70 break, it has about a $10 move up, right? I come out here on the daily. Please let me know in the live chat if you can see okay, because I would like to make sure that you guys can obviously understand what I'm going for. But over that 70 break, I believe we will see 80 really quickly, and then a few other people have talked about it, but over that $80 level is the true breakout. And I think based on the Afterpay deal and stuff like that, I would not be surprised to see the 100 level. Do I think that this is the right market for it? Probably not. Do I think it's possible that I can see a $10 move? Absolutely. I think it's really good news. The calls are for August 20th, so that makes you feel any better. You got some time, so I may just hold some of these, honestly, because I'm kind of interested to see what happens. But and you got to keep the summer fun, guys. You don't want to let things get too stressful. I know trading sucks right now, and et cetera, but got to keep things fun and loose and try to have a good time. So the 68.15 level is going to be a big resistance point. We break that. I think we're going to test 70. We tested in after hours last night, I believe 69. Yep, 69.93. Really big level. But as you can see, if we look at the 5-minute, we're getting a much better view that we are, in fact, just testing that support, right? And those are the prime dip opportunities. But you got to keep your head on a swivel, because we got flushed at open yesterday. So need to keep an eye on that. I focus on having the chart, more visible and less on the rest of the screen. I mean, you guys are now seeing my main setup on Webull. Before I was using my secondary computer, so I would just make a quick okay, this is good enough for the live. But now you guys are seeing my main setup, right? So what I do is I have 2 charts open on the sides. These are my secondary charts. So if I'm trading a theme, I have my sympathy plays up. I have my options right here. I have active trader, my level 2 data, main chart, my positions down here, top gainers list down here. And then, I have my watch list right here. So pretty simple, nothing too crazy, but as far as a firm, definitely going to be a watch for me off open to take a little bit of size, and then possibly scale in from there. I don't want to jump too heavy too quick on this trade. That's what I did yesterday. Started panicking about too much size in the summer, all those thoughts, right? So can't be emotional, and sizing down helps a lot with not being emotional. So I want to focus on that level. We break that, nothing for me. If we hold that level, I'll take a starter on this. Like, I don't know what calls yet. Maybe the 75s. We'll see. Bitcoin is ramping. As I mentioned before, we're getting some Bitcoin movement. Yep, we're going to go for that 39K break. So here's that's actually a big move for BTC, right? I honestly, I fill the majority of the time off my phone because it's way faster with Webull. Like if I see something quick and I'll fill it, but, so names that I want to be aware of today, right? With Bitcoin, I think this is going to be a really nice move. If we break 39K, obviously that'll spark some of the sympathy names. BTBT is one to watch. One of my favorite names lately because of the way it's been trading. Really nice last few candles here. Looks like it wants to test this 1055 level. Obviously this name's been hot. I think this name might have a squeeze in it, a true squeeze. This thing has been, I don't know if you guys remember the XELA trade from like a month or so ago, but it's just, parabolic move up, gap down, new support, parabolic move up, right? We turned the 783 level into support now, right? That was resistance, now it's support. Same thing here, right? Parabolic move up, gap back down, 937 level was resistance, now support, right? Really strong support in this 970 area. I saw like 40K bidder in BTBT earlier today, so at 970. So just be smart. Obviously, range a little bit more limited to the upside on the closer time frames. Key level for me, obviously, is going to be the top of this like hourly chart, which is going to be that 1130 level. If we break over 1130, this thing's got a lot of room, right? I think first big resistance point is going to be here, where we had that nasty downtrend started. So the 14 area, I think over 1130, 14 is doable. Over that gets crazy, right? That's where we start getting into the true gap fill territory, which I think will be like, 19-ish, right? Like those crazy numbers. So Webull desktop sucks for options, just FYI. Love the company, love the app, love the platform, but so definitely one I'm going to focus on if Bitcoin stays strong. I'd really like to see Bitcoin break 39K and push that 40 level. I think that kind of sparks things. I think we're seeing a little pullback right now. Yeah. So obviously this is a nice breakout also. Like, charting on BTC is a little bit different. Everybody uses the 4 hour on Bitcoin. But a chart's a chart, right? I mean, this thing just broke resistance. Obviously we can see that, so it's making a move on the shorter time frame. Riot is another name that is now been beaten down kind of badly after a big move up to 35 or what was it, 34 over the weekend, something like that, right? Back down at relatively decent support levels. Now the key level for me is 32.13. Obviously this is like my old, I used to trade this thing every single day. But 32.13 is a big key level. Over that, I think we see, obviously 32.50. And then what I want to look for, right, is, got a nice base forming here, right? I would like to see a move over 32.6 and then confirm. And if we get that move over 33, we're looking really nice for a move towards, 33.5. That's been a big resistance point lately, which has kind of been a little bit more of a like newer formed resistance, if you want to call it that, quote unquote. And then, obviously 35 huge resistance, but, look at the daily, my levels are probably still nuts. Yeah, they are. Obviously a lot of room up on this chart. It looks very similar to BTBT, but I want to see some more Bitcoin confirmation for this to really be a true theme. BTBT probably probably my favorite play on this right now, but obviously I'll always play Riot calls. I just like to play Riot when there's more of like a parabolic move with Bitcoin. I don't like to get caught in the downside move. So, and when things are slow, guys, it doesn't matter what it is, Bitcoin, biotech, doesn't matter. If it's August and things are slow and things aren't trading the same way they used to, you can't force it. No matter how good the news is, something that goes 200% in January or whatever, October, November, right, is not going to go 200% right now, right? It's going to be totally different. So you have to be mindful of that. Another name that I will look for today is Coin. Sitting on really nice support. We know the levels here, right? You guys know how much I love trading this ticker. But yeah, 229, obviously a nice level. We've traded it off there multiple times. Really, really, really strong support on pretty much every time frame in the 10 area, right? I think the downside is very limited as far as like the shares go. As far as the weeklies go, downside is nice. I'm always worried about what is my downside risk, right? Okay, well, even if Bitcoin returns to where it was, coin was sitting in the, 229 range-ish, right? So I'm not too worried about like seeing a $7 move backwards. So I like where coin's at as far as the fact that it's off support. And of course, I'm going to look at AMD today. I want to give a warning on this one. Those premiums yesterday, we saw what we saw on Tesla on Monday, right? And that was that the theta decay was crazy, right? Crazy theta decay. Okay, like those puts we saw $1.20 move in the direction we wanted, which was down, right? And still, right, we saw this major decay on the premiums, right? They were sitting. I got in at 61. I tweeted at 61. We saw almost 60-cent move down, and they were the same price. It took like a major move down on the premiums or a major move down on the stock. I think it was like $1 or something for them to move 15%. So not in love with it. I don't love trading premiums when they're like that. I'm gonna, obviously key levels are pretty clear here on AMD, right? Like we're familiar with it at this point. This thing has been a monster. If you remember from the original lives, I said that I was expecting a $10 to $12 move, possibly 15, and look what we're seeing, right? Bullish news yesterday. We've got a nice little demand area forming here, right? And that 113.15 range, 113.50 range, right? We need to hold 113 in my opinion. If we retest that level, probably a nice spot to add calls. AMD faked a gap up off open yesterday. Luckily didn't sell all my puts, so was able to get out relatively green on that. But today looks like we're gonna push this resistance here at open. It's 114.85, so the 115 psych level. Over that, probably gonna see 120. I kind of think that everyone is like, oh my gosh, AMD is gonna be this amazing short right now, and it's not yet, right? The one thing I've learned is you don't want to be too early, because that's when you get squeezed out and you take puts and then you end up worthless or whatever, right? So you want to make sure that you wait for the full exhaustion of the move. Wait till this trend, right? This trend that we're seeing forming right on the hourly chart on longer time frames fails. Once you see a longer time frame trend fail, that's when you can start to you don't need to nail the top, right? It's fun when you nail the top. I've nailed the top before, right? On weekly puts, and it's insane. But I nailed the top on weekly Riot puts one time, and they went 400% in one day. It was nuts. But right, that was, you're not going to do that every time. You shouldn't do that, right? You should just wait for the fail follow through, right, and take advantage of the trade on the downside. The watch list will be on Twitter here in about 5.5 minutes. So Yeah, and guys, I've been wanting to get the watch list done by 8:10, but like 8:15, but there's just not enough direction in the market for me to like truthfully put out like, okay, here's A+ setup. So I'm gonna try to put it out 15 minutes before open. That way, that gives you guys, you know, like I said, about 15 minutes to review my notes, and then you can make decisions based on that. Yeah, so those are the tickers I'm gonna be watching this morning. Just keep in mind again. You know, SPY's pretty much flat. I am thinking we got that little like fake out yesterday, little bear trap. So, you know, if we see that gap up off open, though, I'm not going to touch stuff because, you know, yesterday was a total fake out. So if we get a tiny little flush at open, that'd be nice. I will probably take some firm lottos. As far as open goes, that's really the only trade I'm planning to take off open. I want to wait and be patient. Apple saw a nice move yesterday. It may come back into play over that 148 level. I'd like to see new at the highs, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, right, in this market. So yeah, I like, you know, the riot calls ideas. I mentioned that. Yeah, and Bitcoin is making new highs. Riot calls are nice, and I think BT calls will be nice. So just to recap, no firm like trade plan per se for me off open yet. Key levels I'm going to be watching on Bitcoin names is 32.5 on Riot and 1050 on BTBT. So wait for that. I'd like to see confirmation over 39K on Bitcoin names to go like obviously long heavy, but yeah. So I'm still in ACY. Just to mention quickly, guys, when the market starts to slow down, I'm just being 100,000% real with you, right? You start to see these low float names move. Why? Because they move really easily, not a lot of volume, which is what we're lacking right now in the market is volume, right? It's August. So you start to see these things that do not have as much volume start to move heavy, right? And this is a name that went nuts, right? And it can go down just as fast as it can go up, right? But I still have this in the TD account. I'd love 2150. I think this thing goes parabolic up to 38, just because this type of weekly chart, whenever you see this setup, it's usually a long for me. If we reject 21.5 again, obviously I would probably exit, but you know, don't chase. But I really, really like this thing for a potential double. So it's going to be on like heavy watch for me because low floats are ripping. So you just, you know, whether you trade stocks or not, I don't know. Some of you may not. I do. You know, I think this presents a really nice setup. This is what's called being early, right? You might have to sit in it for a day, deal with a couple dips, but probably going to pay at some point. And it kind of paid yesterday, so. XELA, they have earnings coming up. It was moving nicely last night. I took some shares on my other TD account, not the 25K one, but I don't know. It's up right now. For me, the stop is going to be, I really want to see that 330 level hold. If not, I'd probably exit and then re-enter. But hell yeah, man. Taking all evening classes and learning to trade during the day. That's awesome. Thoughts on PFE? Yeah, I will talk about the vaccine names quickly. Yeah, crazy move, right? These last few days, this might even see a bigger move. I would watch this 46 level, right? Huge, like key level. You know, PFE calls are really, really cheap too, because it's been, I think I tweeted about it a long time ago, but it's like this thing has been trading at the same like price for like legit like 5 years. It's nuts. But yeah, it just obviously doesn't really move heavy. New at the high test here. If we break 46, I'll take some calls, maybe some lottos. But you know, this is because of mRNA, right? Just absolutely insane move. The last like the weekly chart is nuts, right? Whenever I see this is we're like probably close. Maybe we see like 450 something, maybe 500, something crazy like that. I wouldn't put it past it. I'm not going to short until it's ready, but this is looking a lot like the Bitcoin chart was looking at, you know, 60K or whatever. So just keep the eyes peeled. I think at some point this does see a big move down, but it's not yet. Earnings on the 5th, I believe. So. All right, guys. I'm going to get ready for open. I'm going to go ahead and get the watch list out. Those are kind of my main watches for today. I know it's a little bit like, Bitcoin, vaccines, Affirm, but, there's just not like a clear theme right now. If there was, I'd love if we were just sitting here focused on, a few main things. But for me, AMD, I would love to trade it again. I don't want to deal with those premiums, though, so I think I'm going to look elsewhere today. Last thing I want to deal with during a summer is shitty theta decay. As far as, I think the vaccine theme is not done yet. I'll watch PFE. Thank you for whoever that pointed that out. And then, Bitcoin names, I'd love if they rip. Get one final check on Bitcoin before I leave. Dealing with that 39K resistance, right? We got to break that. I think once we break that, we see a nice move. So just keep that on watch. Don't get trapped long side or short. But Affirm's going to be watch for me at open. Probably the only position I will take in the first few minutes, but we'll see. Big gap to fill on pins. I did see that. Obviously, it went down like $30 or something. Crazy. Yeah, I saw that. Obviously, probably a little bit oversold. That gap is crazy. It looks like, honestly, to me, though, I was looking at this the other day. Pin's probably going to have a really strong resistance here at 62-ish area, up to like 63. But, obviously, the hanging candle area is going to be huge. So I would look for a move over 62 on pins. Moves a little bit slower, so I want to give yourself some time. Might be a nice swing, but I'm not going to take any swings right now. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get the watch list done. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for all the support. I know it's weird with the link being on Patreon now, but thank you guys for coming by, hanging out in the mornings. I love doing this, even when the market's slow and the weather is bad, and but it's okay. Like I love hanging out with you guys every morning and showing you guys what I'm seeing. And I really hope it is helping. If there's things that you think I can do better, I'm going to put my email on the Patreon, just for your guys' 3 tiers. So if there's things that you think I can improve on in the mornings, feel free to shoot them at me. I will do my best to make these as good as possible. So, going to get ready for open, get the watch list ready, and I will see you guys on the Twitter today. Let's stay green, guys. Have a good day.